Your safety comes first with the First Alert Radar Network. First just got faster. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Tonight, one of the men involved in the case of a disappearing arrest in Waynesboro is fighting back. Next at 6 o'clock, our I-team has an update and his request to police the police. But first, dozens of families across the CSRA are waiting for closure, specifically autopsy results or even a death certificate. When your loved one passes, there's not much you can do without a death certificate, like claim life insurance.
From dying of natural causes to homicides waiting to be solved, the coroner says our cases are backlogged starting at the GBI Crime Lab in Atlanta. Hallie Turner in the newsroom for us. And Hallie, you found the number of pending reports has almost doubled in recent years.
The document that they sent us lists 77 pending autopsy cases from the coroner's office, leaving 77 families all searching for one thing. 16-year-old Nathan Hibbets went to sleep with one thing on his mind 4 months ago, passing his driver's test.
Tuesday night, he practiced parallel parking for about 20 minutes because he had his test Thursday. That was the last thing he did, over and over.
Nathan never made it to the DDS.
You go to bed a healthy 16-year-old, and then you don't wake up the next day, and then just not knowing what happened is kind of nerve-wracking.
His parents wonder if their faith-driven football player had a seizure.
That's just our assumption.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
He's only ever had one before, 2 years ago.
It was pretty traumatic because he didn't know what was happening. He just happened to hear him. He was up getting ready for work.
Now, 118 days later, they still don't know if that's what happened. His name is on a list of pending autopsy cases. It's only getting longer.
Our cases have increased a good bit. Naturally, the autopsies have increased also.
With a massive 5 to 7 week backlog from the GBI Crime Lab, Coroner Mark Bowen has people as young as 28 days to 87 years old waiting for answers.
Getting the medical examiners is the problem. They always tell us that there's not that many in the United States. When they are able to get one and they train them, it takes a couple of years to get them trained.
Families are left with loose ends that could stay this way for months on end.
If you're waiting on insurance, most companies, you need a death certificate and then just the closure. It doesn't bring them back while they die. It helps with the grieving process.
And for the Hibbets, they're clinging to faith during the wait.
Because God is good. No matter what happens in life, God is good.
Now, the GBI is funded by 18 medical examiners, but they only have about 8 openings. And until then, the shortage of medical examiners catching up to the demand. The backlog doesn't look like it's going to be going anywhere. And this is that list just to show you, it's 2 pages long of how long we have people waiting here in Augusta.
And you would think a city like Augusta would be big enough to have our own crime lab here. But Hallie, back in January, the GBI director did talk to state lawmakers about this issue. It said back then they were working to find ways to fix this problem, but it's not solved yet.
It continues to be an issue until we start graduating more kids willing to be medical examiners. The backlog just seems to drag on and on. Hallie, thanks for those updates. Turning to weather now, taking a lot.
Nice air can stick around that full forecast in just about 10 minutes.
Riley, thanks a lot. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office says the deputy who recently died was under criminal investigation before his death. Brian Manakee was found by Lincoln County deputies Friday night just before 6:30. They say it looked like he shot himself. Details on what the investigation is about, that's sealed shut for now. Meanwhile, the GBI is looking into all this, and we're still working to learn more about what that investigation was centered on. We have an update tonight on the case of a disappearing arrest in Waynesboro.
Last month, our I-team showed you how 2 men connected to the very same felony case had 2 very different experiences following their arrests. One sat in jail for weeks before he was allowed to bond out. You can see his mugshot here.
The other spent no time behind bars. He doesn't have a mugshot or even a record of his arrest in the system. The only difference, Burke County Sheriff Alfonso Williams got involved, telling our I-team the then suspect is a prominent businessman who's been in the community for years. The I-team also found he donated to Sheriff Williams' campaign.
All charges were eventually dropped in the case, but tonight, one of those men is fighting back.
Meredith Anderson joins us now with his request to police the police.
This is pretty much the only record of Gary Flakes Jr. getting arrested. The I-team was able to get it through an open records request because it's public record. It's something he never wanted you to see, but now that you have seen it, he wants an outside agency to take an even closer look, and not just at this video. He says he never should have been arrested in the first place.
Before we begin,
We got felony warrants on you.
Oh my God.
An important reminder about an important name in all this.
I've been talking to Alfonso and Lee, trying to get to the bottom of this bull.
Alfonso, as in Burke County Sheriff Alfonso Williams. The officers arresting Gary Flakes Jr. are not his deputies because they do not work for the sheriff's office. They're Waynesboro police officers, so Sheriff Williams has no jurisdiction in this case.
Am I staying in the city tonight or
No, you're good to count. We don't have to.
But Sheriff Williams does oversee the jail. And this is where the I-team uncovered Sheriff Williams intervened. Body cam captures the Waynesboro officer dropping him off that night. Burke County Jail employees should then take a mugshot and fingerprints. But when the Waynesboro officer left that night, none of that ever happened. Except for the body cam.
All right, y'all.
It's like he was never arrested at all. Now the I-team has new documents where Flake says he never should have been arrested. In this formal complaint, his attorney is requesting an internal affairs investigation of the Waynesboro Police Department. He claims investigators got the warrant for his arrest with incomplete information that distorted the facts. He then says the I-team aired that incomplete information that distorted the facts right here on WRDW News 12 and WAGT NBC 26. Some of those include his relationship to his alleged co-defendant, Daniel Nunn.
Turn around for me. I got a warrant for your arrest.
Felony warrants accuse Nunn and Flakes of working together to cheat an elderly woman out of her home. Nunn was living at that home with 78-year-old Alawan Bryant, who everyone calls Miss Mona, when Waynesboro police arrested him. Flakes claims he's actually lived there with Miss Mona off and on for 5 years.
I went for Gary Flakes.
Gary Flakes.
According to Flakes' new complaint, he says Nunn would occasionally perform tasks for spending money around Mr. Flakes' business, but he was not an employee of Mr. Flakes, Air Now Incorporated, or Air Now Investments. Gary Flakes Jr. owns Air Now, a heating and air company. Nunn was wearing an Air Now shirt when he was taken into custody. Before police leave, Miss Mona pleads with officers to let Nunn get his car out of the driveway first.
Just a little bit.
There are a number of references in the case file to Miss Mona's possible diminished mental capacity, from a conversation with an investigator to a recorded phone call with a family friend describing a call with Miss Mona's daughter. Medical records might not be public record, but court orders are. Waynesboro police sent Miss Mona's doctors an order for records pertaining to a dementia diagnosis. Flakes claims there is no medical diagnosis or court order finding she has diminished capacity or suffers from dementia. As for the sale of the home, the I-team searched property records and found G3 Investments bought the home in question. According to the Secretary of State's office, Flakes owned G3 Investments. In his complaint, he says Miss Mona sold her home to Air Now Investments. He says Miss Mona contacted him about wanting to sell because she needed money to help a relative with a legal matter. He also claims the home was appraised for $55,000, but the amount paid to her was reduced by a federal subsidy she got to buy the house. Property records show the sale price was $28,467, so that's before that reduction. And even the county noted on its website, it's not fair market value. After Miss Mona settled up with the federal subsidy, the case file shows a check for less than $10,000 for her house. Gary Flakes has since sold the home for $50,000, almost doubling his investment. When the warrants were dismissed, the Augusta District Attorney's Office noted there was probable cause for the warrant, but not sufficient evidence to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. But Flakes believes this goes way beyond that. He's now claiming to be a victim in all this. And he wants someone with no ties to Waynesboro PD or the Burke County Sheriff's Office to take a closer look. Now, again, we want to make it very clear, all charges against both Daniel Nunn and Gary Flakes Jr. have been dropped in this case. As for Flakes' request for an investigation, the Waynesboro police chief tells me that police department has contracted with an investigation company outside of the CSRA and has turned over the case files in this case. No word on how long that investigation will take, but the I-team will certainly let you know the findings as soon as we have them.
All right, thanks, Meredith. Today is National Voter Registration Day, and there's several big reasons to make sure you're registered this election season. In November, you'll vote on a half-cent sales tax to build a new James Brown arena. The other would be to give Augusta Mayor Garnett Johnson a full vote at commission meetings rather than being a tie-breaking vote. That election is November 7th. The last day to register to vote is October 9th. That is in 20 days. Making sure every child has a full camp experience, no matter their disability or chronic illness. After the break, we have a first look at a brand new, updated Camp Lakeside.
And we are looking at a relatively cool night again, down into the 50s. Nice weather sticking around for the rest of this work week, but we are keeping an eye on some rain chances this weekend. We'll have that full forecast next. Like an all-day washout, so don't cancel any outdoor plans you have this weekend. As far as temperatures go, we're going to keep it below average the next 7 days, and the official start of fall is heading our way Saturday.
That's right, but summer is not quite over yet. Before it ends, the family-wise Camp Lakeside in Lincoln just cut the ribbon for their new phase of additions.
With a state-of-the-art swimming pool and nature education center and a chapel on the lake, you've got to take a look at this. This is the new swimming pool. It's zero entry. That means children with disabilities or in wheelchairs can wade in with little to no difficulty. They also have a massive tree house named Danny's Tree House, and if you look, it's shaped like Noah's Ark. It will be used as a nature education center. They also have a brand new chapel. It seats 300 people. It is right on the lake, and it is gorgeous.
Our kids are absolutely going to love all of these new additions. It only enhances everything that we have here at camp, right? For all of our kids, for future generations, we just want to leave a legacy to serve all kids.
The program director says plans don't stop here. There are talks to add more cabins and staff housing in the next phase.
Looks amazing over there. Parker's Kitchen heading to Wheeler Road, but hundreds of neighbors in the area are not very happy about that. Stick around to find out why they don't want something new at that intersection when we come back.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Lexus Acura Cadillac.
Every day is a fresh.
Neighbors in the Wheeler Road area say they're not happy about a possible new Parker's Kitchen in their backyard.
Right, about 30 people showed up to the Augusta Commission today to protest with another 400 signatures in hand. The commissioners thought different, moving forward with a plan for a gas station just down the street from Doctors Hospital.
That's right, y'all. Just inside of here, more than 24 neighbors armed with these pink slips labeled no walked away frustrated following today's rezoning approval for a new Parker's Kitchen. Their biggest concern, the traffic congestion, which they say has been an issue. Now, following those initial votes of no, city leadership heard from traffic and engineering as well as representatives from Parker's Kitchen. John Usry says it's already a high traffic area, and neighbors feel with restaurants like McDonald's, Zaxby's, and several other roadways already in place, issues could get worse. Neighbors also tell me they believe the gas station will bring a more violent environment. Commissioner Catherine Smith McKnight was the only one to vote this rezoning down, supporting the protesters.
At the end of the day, I have to side with my constituents. I have traveled that road. I'm over there that way every day, and it is a nightmare going all 4 directions.
Now, representatives with Parker's Kitchen say that location should be completed by 2024. The next step is just blueprints coming. The first. Allison, on your side.
Okay, sorry, you cut out there. First quarter of next year when we're expecting those blueprints, and we've already seen proposals for Parker's Kitchens in Columbia County and over in Aiken shut down due to concerns about traffic.
It's a story we'll continue tracking there. Craig, thanks for the update from downtown.
For more than a month, talks have grown about how the community can help our homeless and those on the bubble looking for resources.
If one outreach group couldn't help, they want to point you to one that can. And as Nick Veland tells us, over time, things got even more confusing until today.
Well, this is 10 pages of agencies, all with different resources to help homelessness or other struggles in the community. And the problem was that they weren't always on the same page. But today's meeting is a step in the right direction to get the right contact information to those to help them out when they need it. It's a growing population in our community.
Our family shelter is full. It's packed full. There's no more space.
Organizations on the front lines working to help and find solutions are now connecting with each other, allowing more agencies to give people help if a certain organization doesn't provide it.
Our phones at Gap Ministries are ringing off the hook, and it's questions about utility assistance or rental assistance, and those are things we do not do. But for me, I love to be able to say, okay, no, we do not do this, but I know the agency that I can send you to.
Nomi Stanton is the executive director of Gap Ministries. She says that building this network up is crucial.
It's the worst thing when you have someone who has already exhausted every number that they've had. They've been told to call a number that no longer exists. Organizations close all the time, but that whole room, over 300 people, are people that know where to send someone.
Everyone has the same goal. This room has no egos. These people just want to help get those back on their feet. Because what these organizations provide is part of a puzzle, each piece going towards a long-term solution.
You reach out to a church or a food pantry and they say, I don't know where to send you. You may not ask again. It snowballs out of control and then we end up with another homeless family.
Organizers and agencies says that they're going to re-update and re-look at this list every 6 months to ensure that the right information is staying out there. In Columbia County, Nick Veland on your side.
Tier Limit Hyundai is celebrating our...
And remember, look for the red ribbon.
Hey, it's Anna Christina inviting you to celebrate Jimmy's Home Furnishings anniversary sale. We're offering 36 months of interest-free financing. Any furniture purchased off the showroom floor can be taken with you or delivered within 24 to 48 hours. As always, we have free delivery for our active duty and retired military. 2 miles off exit 190 on the corner of Horizon South Parkway. From our family to yours, thank you for your support over the last 6 years. We look forward to many more. Jimmy's Home Furnishings, where it feels like home.